Okay, so this is the Tikkun Elevator Kolel, and this is Baruch Fleischman. This is a repeat shear because I forgot to record the last one, and so let's take a look at what the Shar Kavanos and the holy ARI has to teach us about Pshat in Mincha. So he says, you can understand Mincha from the Sod Pasuk V'yera Menucha Ki Tov. He saw the Menucha, the place of rest, that was good. This was talking about a description of the tribe of Yisachar. Gam zehu sod v'yera menucha ketov. He'll see it. He'll see this menucha, and it's going to be good. V'chul nimshach b'min haraz alomos. We mentioned before that the left side and the right side of Zer Anpin have within them, either 207 different hidden worlds on the right line, or 103. So we have in the idea that B, he's going to explain this, so let me go on and he'll explain it better than me. He said, which is on the right line, which is the chesed, which is called good. And if you put them all together, heim yesh olamos, so you have 207 and 103, it makes 310 worlds. Behine osios elo shal mincha hamoras ala gavuras v'chadinim, which really refers to a time of din. Yachshu la'asi devel, you're going to bring them back in the future. Vihia osios nechama, they'll change into comfort. So let's see what the Tivuk Levano says on this. We're starting with number Yud Aleph. It's down below here, and let's take a look at it. He says like this. Here we are. He says, in the Olam Abriya, there are 310 hidden worlds. So in the 310, there's 207 that refers to the right side, and it refers to the Bechin of Rachman. Then there's Kuf Gimel Olamos, Heim B'Smol, the Bechinas Dinim, they're on the left side, the aspect of Dinim. Of the Eis of Mincha, at the time of Mincha, order them Kuf Gimel Olamos Dinim, that what happens is that the arousal of those Dinim takes place at this time. Of the Zechah Yivuga B'Secha, the Pasuk V'yera Menucha Ketov, and this is where we have this Pasuk, and he will see, Menucha Ketov, a rest, a comfort, Ketov, because it's good. The Menucha, Chaser Vav, if you take the word Menucha, you take the Vav out of that word, Hu B'Gematria Kuf Gimel, coming down to the Gematria of 103, which is Mincha again. 103, Olamos Adin, of the Olamos Adin. But Os Vav, the Nosif, Romas, the Zer Anpin, Kenizka, remember, it refers to a Zer Anpin. We know the Vav, Zer Anpin is a Vav. B'Shorsham Ku Baraz, the secret of this is in the Raz Alomos, the Harachamim, the Bestar Yaminach, and Nikrotel, which are called good. Zecha V'yera Menucha, that's what it means when you're going to see this rest. Shashar Shabbatov, because the roof of Menucha, with this Vav referring to Zer Anpin, is really good. So he said, the Shorsham, when the Dinim refer to their root, they go back up. And you join them together. In other words, with the 310. So he's saying that in the Olam Abriya, which is Panimi to us, he says that there are 310 worlds, and part of them are on the side that's 207 on the time of good, and the other are Rachamim, and the other are pure din. So he says, Im Raz Olamos Arachmim Yihya Kol Yachad Shai Olamos Misbar Zecha B'Mora Ala Klaus Adinim V'Rachamim, and this all refers to this, putting dinim together with Rachamim. He said, La'asi the Vav, but in the future, Gam HaGavur V'Chadinim HaRumal Zecha B'Tevis Mincha, so the two of them, that is a dinim which refers to Mincha time, Yismatku, they become sweetened, B'Shorshim at their root, V'Yachafku the Rachamim, and all of them will become Rachamim. V'Chabbatev Mincha, the Hafech, the Nechama, and the word Mincha will change over and become the word Nechama, which is the same letters, different order. Let's go to number Yudalit up above. Yudalit up above says, So to Mincha Sheshalach Yaakov Esau. So going back to Yaakov when he meets Esau, and from the parts of V'yishalach, V'yishlach, V'yishalach. The Nachse Devar Pasuk Sh'amar V'yikach Min Ba Biyadu Mincha Esau. So let's talk about that, and let's go back to that place. So Mincha Hu Sod Kuf Gimel Olomos Shiyad Small. So Mincha is the concept once again, as we said, of the 103 worlds of the world Olam Abriya that refer to Dinim. So Kuf Gimel Olomos Shiyad Small that are on the left line. V'hu HaGevura, and the left line is the place of Gevura. So that's what he means when he says this phrase. Mincha le'esav echad. V'lo amar biyado, he doesn't say it in plural in his hands, lashon rabbi, rak biyado lashon yachid. So the secret of this is that he gave with his left hand, and the left hand is the side of din. Yad small is the Yaakov Zer Anpin. The Yaakov represents the middle line. He's Zer Anpin, and he gives his left, the left part of the middle line, to Esau. But the Fisha Esau and Rosh and Nimshach min Gevura, so this aspect, actually an aspect of Gevura, L'chein Nitan lo Chelko Misham, so therefore he gives the portion that is deserving of it from there. Ve'esav Rasha Ramaz Lo, so Rasha is referenced here. Kigam ku im yirtzu. Now this is the thing he wants to say, that if he wants to, yuchul his achez v'liyane b'kolcha yesh olamos, he could do the same thing. He's a twin brother, so he can do the same thing. He can grab a hold of and feed off of all of the 310 olamos al yedei katrogo sheyuchul l'ktarag al Yisrael, because of the accusations. Now think about some of the other things that we read in Chaim Beinart, the blood libels. Somehow we can get that thrown at us. It's ridiculous, but you could get that thrown at us by the people of Esau, which unfortunately is the root of Christianity. Yesh li Rav, he says, my brother Yesh, that he has the 13, and it's Rav, I could do something with it. Kolomer kolcha Yesh heim li, I have all the 310 too. Im erza lektar gal Yisrael, but I can use them, and he does, to threaten the Jewish people and to accuse the Jews. So let's come over here and let's see where we left off. We're on number Yud Daled, which is at the bottom of that column, and so we're going to pick up right here. Let's see if I can get something underneath this. Just put this here so that side doesn't easier for me to handle. So he says, let's read the light print. And he took what came into his hand. Mincha le'esav achiv, a mincha. Now we got the idea what mincha means. That a mincha sheshalach Yaakov le'esav, heim bebechinas of gevuros, is the aspect of gevuros. V'nir mezuzah b'tevis mincha, so he says, and there's a reference here from the tevis mincha, for the word mincha, rumenes al kuf gimel olamos adinim, which represents really the 103 olamos of dinim, the gevuros, the bria, and the gevuros that go along with bria. Behine this boy le'er the tevis mincha, right? It's monach hey, right? Something like that. He writes it. Romezes al chamisha dinim mansapach. We say that refers to 5 din. Now normally we say that the mansapach, which are the double letters, he said they refer to sweetened dinim, but they're dinim. But know this, it's baus yad yamim, the zer anpin. So know this: the right hand is zer anpin. Hem keneged chamisha chasadim really refers to 5 chasadim. But it's baus yad small. Hem keneged chamisha gevuros. So we understand that let's go on. But he says it in singular. The lokach daika, but specifically he took mibechinis haba biyad small, from this aspect that came from the left hand of zer anpin. He says this is going to refer to the 103, the zer anpin hanikra gam Yaakov, because zer anpin is also Yaakov. Sheheba gevuros, which represents the middle line. He takes from the left side of the middle line behind the hemshech hadinim v'gevuros le'Esau. So whatever he knew about gedinim and gevuros, he gave him over to Esau. Now, previously he said that Esau also could theoretically, or does in fact, use the same 310 as accusations against the Jews. So She'esav who bechinas the pesulas, the gevuras, that Esav really represents the wasted part, the unusual part of the gevuras. The noda meYitzchak, because he's the son of Yitzchak, shehu bechinas hatov shebegevuras, which is the good part of gevuras. Gevuras also make things. Gevuras is a contract to the Romans. Just think about the Romans. All the things that they built, the roads and the aqueducts and the cities and everything that their architecture and everything they do. And look at the Christian world today. We're talking about the European world. Let's call it that. The European, by extension to the other places that are part of the European world. He says, Shalok lo liyakov bechinas gevuros hashaychus alav lefi bechinasa. That really, because according to his aspect of who he is, these dinim, that's what Yaakov gives him. One more, he said, V'achar sheYaakov nasan the Esav rak mekuf gimel alamas dinim bilvad. Since he only gave him the left-hand side, which is the 103 dinim, which is Mincha. Amar Esau the Yaakov, then Yesi said, Yaakov, he said back to Yaakov, he said, listen, I got it. Yesh, I have the 310. The 310, Yesh li. Yesh li Rav, I've got a lot of powerful uses that I can use under the 310. Now, I'm not sure exactly what that conversation would be. V'hainu, the im is gaver the kitrog al am Yisrael, that if I gather strength, which happens, and it's happening actually right now. He said that in this year, this is, what day is today? Today is February the 9th, 2024. We are in a war, and we are getting the world, a great deal of the world of Esau and his those who are influenced by him, are coming after us. Hainu de'im is gaver the ketrog al Am Yisrael. If he gets to the point where he really starts making accusations against them, Yunasin li koach, the Yana B'kol Yashim, oh, it should be given to me then, the power, this is what he's saying, to be able to use all the 310 Olamas, Gamba Olamas Arachamim, even the Olamas Arachamim, I can throw them at you as an accusation. It's coming. So, let's see what happens now. Nisboyer inyan havidui shala'acher tefillas mincha. So let's explain the vidui that's going to take place after the tefillas mincha. So in Ashkenaz, the Siddur Ashkenaz, which is common here in the United States, they don't have a vidui after mincha. Inyan havidui shala'acher tefillas mincha. Gamhu al derek masha ba'arda b'vidu the chakras. It goes the same way as what we said about the vidu of the chakras. Is shataka be'egrof, so you take your fist and you strike al-achaza on your chest, be called teva v'teva min teva sevidui. So you do this when you say Hashem the Bagadno and start going through that. Uva osach hakuvana atzma should be arti. So if you go back to Tefillah Shachris, he says he talked about that, and so he's not talking about it here too much. So let's go to number Yud Zayin, down the bottom of that page, and we'll come over here and look at it right here. He says, Acha Tefillas Amida de Mincha, Omrim Vidui V'noiflim al Penechem Kebeshachris, and they fall on their faces just like at Shachris time. Biyaka be'egrof, and they strike with their fist al hachaza on the chest, because teva shal vidui, every time he's a sham the begad, like that he's repeating. Bekaven as of yakavin, as a gavana shal the vidui remove aras the ale, so use that which we have of the vidui that we talked about of chakras. So let's go to number Yud Ches. It's over here in this boyer inyan the gedeshim shal tefillas mincha. Let's talk about that. This is a real quick one too. Inyan Gadeshin shall tefillas mincha gubarn is boyer la'el. We just finished Kaddish, talking about Kaddish in the earlier the tefillas of Shachar. Im shar kadeshim shal tefillas shachris, v'sham kasavde bir kavanasu gam kaddish hodu. So over there, really concentrated on one of the kadeshim, the one that you say next to hodu. So here we are on number Yud Ches. He says kavanas kadeshim shal mincha. He said this idea. Nizba'aro lebed the chakras. So not going into it in great detail. The next one. Nizboyer kol minhagim. So we're going to explain all of the minhagim hashaychin b'tefillas mincha that really refer to mincha time. Shar minhagim sheyesh b'tefillas mincha. That's what we're going to talk about. Let's see something else. He says Ata mevi marchu kama minhagi arizal. So we'll drop right down to the next one. And the next one says, Nitzidas tzedakah b'mincha. So he says, be'inyan tzedakah. So when we talk about tzedakah, Iker nisinasa he b'shachris gabe b'yavarach David k'nizka the el. Now we've been through that before, and they would give 3 coins, 2 at one time, 1 at another time. This is very common amongst the Sfardim. But the Hasidim don't do this, and neither the Ashkenaz. But now when we come to Mincha time, who min adinim, it comes from this is the time, who zman adinim, this is the time of dinim. Ve'enu kol kach muchrach nesidas tzedakah, and it's really not all so much necessary to give tzedakah at this time. The sin of tzedakah atom kamo b'shachris, the kapatach b'shachris, is a time of Rahmanas, so we give tzedakah. But this is a time of punishment. So the Avachim calls out, Hoyamari zal noeg the say tzedakah gam b'mincha kodem sheyaskeh lihispala before he begins to pray. For Hoyanosin shlosh prutos, he would always give 3 coins. Al derek mashin is boyer b'shachris, and we have that explained apparently over in Shachris. Let's read over here. There's a little bit more to read. And let's talk at number Kaf. Starts here. He said, Be'inyan nesidas tzedakah kodem at the tefillah, av she'ikar inyanu noheg davka b'tefillah shachris. B'kol makom kol yinoheg rubeinu harizach of the say shlosh prutos gam kodem tefillas mincha kamosha b'shachris. So he would do the same thing. So now we're looking at how, in fact, the ARI, who has the ultimate kavanah, what he actually did, what his practices were. So hoya Rabbeinu Rizach b'nitzchar ma'od lehispala tefillas mincha ba'oda ba'uta b'talis u'ma'uta b'tefillah. Now this, I think, is a different one. So let's go up here and just try to get this, and this is where we're going to coming to a conclusion over here. Gam koya nitzchar ma'od la'omra b'talis tefillin. When he came to mincha, the Rav wore talis tefillin. And there's going to be some depth in here. We'll look at it, Mitzvah Shem, next time. Guvar kazamtech b'tefillah chakras. I've already written it when regards to chakras. Ki b'rishayna hoyanolim l'chanicha b'mincha tefillin k'svaras Rabbeinu Tam. So originally that was what it was. Like the Svar of Rabbeinu Tam, he said we would put on Rabbeinu Tam tefillin at that time at mincha. V'achakach also zug tefillin al das shimush rabba, but he changed. And there's another kind of tefillin, and we're going to get into that a little bit. It's just something called the das shimush rabba. He's v'choya menichet b'tefillas mincha, and he would put them on at the time of the tefillah mincha. Let's look at the Tivuk Kabanos, and from here, let's get that a little bit closer. We can get closer. So he says, Choya Rabbeinu Rizal, Nischar ma'od lehispala tefillas mincha, ba'oda ma'uta b'talas and ma'uta b'tefillin. He says, v'huva le'el shebetechida b'choya harizal noheg l'chanech b'mincha rak tefillin the Rabbeinu Tam. Now I'm really trying to understand this because you don't see this. I haven't seen it. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. People putting on talis and tefillin at that time. I'm thinking maybe it means that he was wearing talis and tefillin the whole day. When it came to mincha time, which doesn't have to be right before dark. It could be mincha time in the middle of the day. Say like it's a half an hour after midday. Let's say, for example, that's mincha time too. So maybe it means that. I'm just not understanding the circumstances. So, and so in that case would be he would be wearing both of the Rabbeinu Tam and the Rashi Tefillin at the same time, and he would take off the Rashi Tefillin and read the Rebbe Tam. So but then he changed though. He said also the Atzbach Tefillin Kedas Shimusha Rabbah. There's something which called the Shimusha Rabbah Tefillin. And we'll look into it the next time. He only put the Shemusha Rabbah Tefillin on at Mincha time. And that's the shear here. This is Baruch Fleischman, took an elevator. Kola.